Have you ever had a moment where you've been thinking about a loved one and all of a sudden you get the sensations and the feelings and the emotions that they are there in the room with you? Perhaps you believe that they have been trying to get you signs, whether that be through you've heard a whisper and there's been no one else in the room, whether that be through angelic signs or symbiology or something that just doesn't seem quite right. You know that there's a more deeper meaning to it, but you just can't put your finger on it. Trust me, your little guiding light of intuition is not wrong. I myself, when I started my mediumship journey, encountered the exact same problems. And what you will find is if you watch this video to the very end, I've put this together to try and help all of you new beginners into mediumship, but not even just the new beginners, even some of the more long-term serving mediums. This video is also going to benefit yourself. There is a reason why you have been led to this video, and there is also a reason why you are having these sensations. Yes, you're not going mad. I'm going to let you in on a little secret. When I first started my mediumship journey, I also felt the exact same as you. I felt a little bit nervous, a little bit fearful, and I didn't know what was happening in those moments. In this video, I'm going to be sharing with each and every one of you my top 5 points that I wish I had of knew at the beginning of my mediumship path. These points are going to help you to clearly understand and begin to decipher how and why spirit communication will take place, and how from the human form you will decode that information into signs, whether that be through your claircognizant abilities, whether that be through just spotting things in the materialistic plane. Stick around to the end of this video, because I can guarantee you there is going to be something in this video for each and every one of you. There is going to be a question that you may not have wanted to ask someone, and I will be covering it in this. However, that being said, if there is something that I haven't covered and it is something that you would like to ask, that's why we've got the comment section. Get it in the comment section and I'll be sure to do a follow-up video in the future. If you're new to the channel, my name is Psychic Medium Jordan Coburn, and I can prove with evidence of the afterlife. I've helped thousands of people on this earth plane to once again be able to reach out and contact their loved ones in spirit from the understandings and the teachings, and now it's your turn. Each and every one of you can become great mediums. In here at Help Heal Serve, we can give you the very foundations that you so need and desire to help you along your mediumship path. Not to mention, we have the loving and supporting Help Heal Serve family. We also have Slack, which is a community program which each and every one of you can join to communicate with one another, to build and forge your unique friendships with other family members of Help Heal Serve. Thank you to all of the channel members, and if you could, I'm going to ask you all in all of these different videos, please, when you've watched these videos, drop something in the comments box, whether that be that you enjoyed it, whether you didn't enjoy it, whether you want to know something. It helps with the organic reach of the channel. I've noticed a lot of the videos, we get a lot of people liking them, but we don't get a lot of comments. Comments are essential for the message of Help Heal Serve, to help it grow far and wide across this earth plane. It helps us to reach more people. With that being said, let's get into this video. The very first point I'm going to mention is going to be trust. Trust is something that is going to be earned along, and I don't mean trust within your abilities as a medium. Yes, technically you've got to believe that you are capable of doing it, but what I'm on about is to have trust that there is something else there in terms of energy. When I speak about the spirit world, I refer to the spirit world as energy beings, because that's what they are. A lot of you might get confused with the terminology. I refer to the spirit world as just being energy. And when I say it just, it's not because they're not important. It's not because they're not special. It's because I've worked with them for so long. To me, the spirit world are just energy. That is the way I refer to them. However, a lot of you may refer to it as spirits, as to ghosts. There's lots of different terminology. But when it comes to trust, you have to trust that there is something else there. Whether that be out of your understanding, out of your database. For example, Spirit are telling us this. Each and every one of you now know that there is oxygen. You all know that there's oxygen. You have all been told from a young age how the human body works. We breathe in oxygen. However, that being said, if we went back to a later time, let's go back to caveman time, you would have found in those times, no one would have had a clue what it was. We would have just realized it was part of the motion that the body goes through. Yet now with science, we can prove that there is a thing called oxygen that we breathe in, air. And this is how the body can move. When it comes to mediumship, you don't need to understand the ins and outs of mediumship to know that there is spirit world there. If you have a slight bit of intrigue, if you believe that the spirit world are there, or you want to believe that the spirit world are there, then my friend, you are already 50% of the way. If you are somebody who's coming into this and you are like many people, so I'm not having a go at you, but you're like many people, like, I don't believe in the spirit world because I've never seen a spirit. Well, you've never seen oxygen, yet you know it's there. Yes, you have been told by mankind, by the teachings of man, that there is oxygen that you breathe. That is because of the understandings that you've gained. You've got to remember when you're coming into mediumship to have a little bit more of a broader spectrum. Don't just base mediumship on what you think it's going to be. Listen, there's many people on this earth plane who can prove of evidence from the afterlife. Like, I'm one of them. There are many other people. There are also many other people who fall flat on the face. And this is where they have went wrong. They haven't forged their own trust with the spirit world. They haven't believed that the spirit world's there. I see it all the time on like say TikTok and that, right? You see people going on and doing these subpar readings and they're more than happy with it. They're just like that smiling. Like that little fat cat who got Garfield, I think it is, who gets all of the money. Or it might not even be Spirit laughing. It's probably not Garfield. But they're just sitting there like that on the little seats because no one can challenge them. No one can prove. No one can go up to them and say, you're wrong. You are doing this wrong. Because everyone's scared. That's going to change. We are bringing around an understanding. We are bringing around these understandings for each and every one of you so that you do start speaking out, because that's part of our message of Help, Heal, Serve. We are here to serve the spirit world. By serving the spirit world, we raise awareness of mispractices of mankind. If you don't, in the first instance, believe in the spirit world, don't waste your time. Like, seriously, stop watching my channel. Even if you like watching the videos, it's never going to help you. I don't want you to waste your time. You don't get your time back. I want to be able to help you to get to where you want to be. If you are watching my channel and you're not interested in spirit communication, then stop. Find something else that is going to pacify your time. Find something else that is going to benefit you in a way. And I mean, listen, I could sit here on this channel, right, and say, just watch it. You might get something, right? But I'm not interested in that. I want to help people who want to help themselves. If you are somebody who likes the ideology and you like the idea of there being a spirit world and you aren't closed off to it, I'm not saying that you have to be open to believe everything, like that there are dragons and there's leprechauns and there's all these. Listen, that's a different video for a different day. But what you've got to remember is when you're working with energy, it comes down to your own imagination. And this is how spirit will communicate things to you. Be open to the idea of there being spirit, but don't be gullible. Don't just because one person said that is the spirit world. You've got to know it in your jiggly bones. You've got to know it in your heart that you want to believe that there's a spirit world. A lot of you who find this video are probably going to be going through what I call the grieving process. This is a humanistic process that can't be overridden. This is something that we can't make go away. You have to go through the grieving process to become stronger. You have to go through the grieving process before you can authentically become a medium. This is where a lot of people don't realize. A lot of people think that you just wave a little magical wand and all of a sudden you're going to get a couple of understandings and you're going to become the world's greatest medium. I'm sorry, that's ego speaking. That is not the materialistic world or the reality to which we exist in. It takes time. It takes perseverance. If you are somebody who is suffering from grief, I would actively encourage, I've got videos on this channel to help you to get through it, but I would actively encourage you to stop looking for a better day to deal with it and to deal with it now. If you are serious about becoming a medium and you are serious about me being able to help you, then we have to look at this in a professional mindset. I need you to be the best version of you, who you are. I can't have you coming into this not addressing some of the challenges that you have going on in your world. We have to resolve the grieving process. Now, when I say resolve, I mean accept. A lot of you, the reason why you can't connect in a mediumistic setting to the loved ones that you want to It's not because you're unable. It's not because you don't have the abilities. It's not because anything other than your mindset. You are suppressing the fact. You are suppressing by not accepting that they are no longer with us in the materialistic. Yes, it's going to be painful. Yes, it's going to be difficult. But let me ask you this question. In what part of your life journey has this been simple and easy? None of it has. Each and every one of you who've got to this part of the video, first of all, I'd like to say a big massive thank you. Remember to smash our like button. But I can guarantee each and every one of you, you all have personal and very unique lives. And I can guarantee with certainty, there's not one of you watching this video who's had an easy peasy life. So please don't bring that attitude into mediumship. Don't think that mediumship should be easy peasy. Mediumship is going to be one of the hardest hurdles that you are yet to overcome. Mark my words. But it's not something you can't overcome. But in the first instance, if you are dealing with the grieving process, let's tackle that beast head on. Let's have a cry. Let's realize and appreciate that they're gone. But we can then start to build and forge a connection with the energy so we can communicate again. I've got loved ones in spirit. I speak to them on a daily basis. It's amazing. Each and every one of you can do that. Remember what I can do? Each and every one of you can do too. Let's come over to the next part that I really wish I had knew at the beginning of my mediumship journey. When we speak of mediumship, the emphasis is always on the connection. It's always about connecting to the spirit world. There isn't any sort of thought put onto you as a person. Remember, you are there as a human being, as a vessel, as a conduit to the spirit world, gaining that information. But what a lot of people fail to accept and acknowledge is the fact that you, my friend, are programmed to go through the tribulations of life. You are in all cylinders. Think of a car. Your accelerator in a car, for those of you who don't know, an accelerator is what makes the engine go faster. The engine's racing. Your little brain, every second of every day is going, and you're going, especially if you've got ADHD like me, like, you're doing everything in every given moment. When you come into mediumship, you can't have that. You have to learn to still the mind, and not in a spiritual sense. We're not talking about all of that jazz. We don't need that. That sort of terminology is what has suppressed you up to this point. You are now getting simplified understandings on this channel. I don't need to massage my own ego by using vocabulary that only certain specific people understand. That's what mankind have done for a long time. That's why mankind, fun fact, in the year 2025, still don't understand that they can contact their loved ones. Think about that for a moment. How sad is it that the majority of people on this earth plane don't believe nor understand how to connect to their loved ones in spirit? Remember that still in the mind is key to spirit communication. We have to get you out of that racing. Remember when I said that the engine's racing and you're going through this busy world? The problem is when you are going through those moments, the spirit world are giving you signs, they're giving you symbols, they're giving you information, but you can't decode that. Your brain is already occupied on keeping you alive and going through its daily functions and every other unnecessary task that you've assigned yourself or any other ritual that you've given yourself. We have to make it simple. We have to take time out to meditate. We need to still our mind. And if you're a bloke, or a man, I should say, and you are somebody who is very much like what myself was at the start of my journey, I'm not meditating, because that's just what women do. You're so wrong. And you will realize how wrong you are when you do your first meditation, my friend, and you cry like a little baby. The first time I done a meditation, I cried. Literally cried. And I mean, it's one of those things where it's a moving moment, because especially if you've went through the entirety of your life and you've never once took a second to take a breath and to just reflect on the journey that you've been through, or the person that you are, or where you are going. Believe me, the second you detach yourself from that situation and you are looking at it essentially in a third person in the meditation, my friend, you will cry your little eyes out. Trust us. But that's good. That's when we know that the healing is taking place. Let's come over to the next thing I wish I had knew when I come into my mediumship journey. Recognizing signs from the spirit world via energy is going to be pivotal. To each and every one of you who want to become mediums, or you are having these signs already occurring, then this is kind of 10% of the way into your mediumship journey. You have many different signs, you have many different extrasensory perceptions, but in this part, we are going to speak about the Clair abilities. Clair abilities are the clear feeling, touch, sensation. There's many different. We're going to go through each and every one of them. But let's start at clairvoyance, clear seeing. This is the ability to see from the materialistic and essentially through the veil into the energy realm. There's no veil at all. But I know a lot of mankind like that sort of terminology, so we're going to go for the veil. When you see from the materialistic into the energy, this is what we would refer to as clairvoyance. If you are somebody who has ever seen a spirit in their full form, absolutely terrifying, but amazing all at the same, especially the first time. Let me know down in the comment section if you have seen a spirit or if you want to see a spirit. I'm sure we'll be able to do a couple of follow-up videos on helping you to see a spirit. But clairvoyance is probably one of the least recognized in adults. A lot of children always use clairvoyance. But when it comes into adulthood and you've been conditioned by mankind, what's right and what's wrong, what you should see, what you shouldn't see, all of the suppression tactics of society, then unfortunately clairvoyance is one of those things that go to the back of your mind. The next clair sense is going to be clairaudience. Clairaudience is where you are going to hear in the materialistic, the spirit world. It's like the whispering that you go, hello, John. I remember when I first started to use clairaudience and it was more whispers and murmurs. Very freaky, very creepy, but I loved it all of the same. And as time goes on and as you refine your clair sense, this is where the communication becomes a lot clearer in a nutshell. But you will hear, like, say, children laughing, children speaking, where you could be doing a mediumship reading and hear a loved one coming through and talking to you direct. The next clair sense is going to be claircognizance. This is one of the most used. Each and every one of you, when you refer to your intuition, your gut feeling, this is going to be your claircognizant abilities, where you just know something is about to go wrong without even knowing a situation. You could walk into a room and immediately when you are in that room, sorry, the energy got really strong there. When you are in that room, you can detect that there is people in the room who are about to cause trouble. I liken this all of the time to people who work on the doors. A lot of doormen, a lot of people who work in the public sector who protect other people, will say before something kicks off, the air changes. It's like the fingers start tingling because a fight's about to break out. And it's one of those things to me that's fascinating because they don't realize, they just think that's a coincidence, that it always happens. I mean, there's a common pattern there, right? And rather than picking up on the pattern, they suppress their own extrasensory abilities because they don't want to speak out. They don't want to tell anyone else what's happening in those moments. But a lot of people will have tingling in the ear, tingling in the hands, tingling in their feet. They'll have like a sensation that'll come over, which is a clear telltale sign that they are picking up on something that is about to take place. The next clair sense is going to be clairsentience. This is where you are going to feel sensations. You are going to feel cold spots. You are going to have lots of different sensations that are going to wash over you. You are going to think intuitively about a person. You might feel and wear their emotions. Clair empathy is another clair sense, which is probably one of the, I would say this and claircognizance are the two that each and every one of you as human beings will already have dialed in. Depending on how much dialed in is going to depend on you as a person, but a lot of you might have friends, you might have people who are around your circles, and these individuals, drama, they love the drama. For example, you might not see them for a long time, and lo and behold, you're talking to them and something seems off. Something doesn't seem right. As you are talking to them, they're saying they're all right, but you can see you're disconnecting that energy. You can't visually see it, but you can sense something in their energy. There is something screaming out to you. Ask them if they need help. Then, lo and behold, you follow your instincts, your extrasensory perceptions, and you ask, do you need help? And then the floodgates open, and then they tell you about all of the life problems that are going on, and then you wish you hadn't asked. But that there is clair empathy. Each and every one of you will use it. Clairalience is going to be clear smelling. This is where you may actually smell perfume of a loved one. You might be in the middle of nowhere, absolutely in the middle of a forest. You think of your loved one, and it seems a little bit strange why you would be thinking of them in that moment. Then all of a sudden, you smell their perfume just wafting in the wind. They are with you in those moments. Believe me, that is not a coincidence. That is not. Stop. I don't work with coincidences, right? There's something that I've learned from working alongside of the spirit world, and it is not a coincidence what starts to happen when you're working with spirit or when they are trying to get you signs. When you put everything down to being a coincidence, this is where you are going to make the journey a lot more difficult for yourself, because the signs, the symbols, everything that they are giving you, you're going to just suppress it to the back of your mind. Don't believe in coincidences. You can't when you come into mediumship. They are not a thing. Clair gustance is going to be Clair tasting. It's a Clair sense that it's very, very rare that you will actually have this. Maybe it's when you're a psychic medium and you are highly developed and attuned and you are doing readings. Then the spirit world might, for example, if they like their favorite food, they might let you. It normally, like, you'll actually taste the food and you'll be like, oh, I'm eating a Sunday dinner. But again, it's one of those ones where it's very, very rare, and it's very rare that it needs to be used. The way that the extrasensory perceptions work and your Clair abilities is the spirit world will go to whatever Clair sense or extrasensory perception that you have that you are more refined to. Therefore, if you are more refined at Clair empathy, Clair sentience, Clair gustance, Clair alliance, all of these different Clairs, whatever is your most prominent, the spirit world will go to. For example, if you are a medium and you go to do mediumistic readings, and all you can do as a person, and you are comfortable with this, is see the spirits, and then you're basically just reiterating what you're seeing to the loved one who's there. Bad move. You have to constantly not be comfortable. To any one of you who want to come into mediumship and be comfortable, I will burst your little bubbles. The reason being is when you become comfortable, you stop growing on a spiritual level. You stop searching for more. You have to always be taken out of your comfort zone. Each and every one of you will know a location or a group where they've done it for a long time and they believe in time served, which I blow out of the water, right? Listen, time served is irrelevant in mediumship. Irrelevant. And I'll tell you the reason why. You could be a medium, practicing medium, for a year. And because you are willing to take yourself out of your comfort zone, you are going to learn more than somebody who's done mediumship for 10 years who is unable to take themselves out of their comfort zone. You get what I'm saying? When you look at these people who are in these groups, right? And they're in a little group, and all they've ever done, for example, is they've done little mediumship readings. They've done little ones for friends and for families. That's all they're ever going to do. They have put themselves into that position where now they can't grow anymore. That's why I'm saying to each and every one of you, do not be like those people. Do not put yourself into that. You can be great. You can be the best version of yourself. But if you put yourself into a comfort, then the thing is you're not going to get out of that comfort blanket. When you start learning mediumship and you start using your clairvoyant abilities, you should be saying to spirit, I now don't want to use that ability. Come to me using my Clair empathy. The spirit world will do that. Remember, this is your life. The spirit world will come to you and will work with you. That's one thing that I would say to each and every one of you. Don't get comfortable with just certain Clair senses. You want to use them all, which brings us to the very last one, Clair vagueness. This is where you give vague, generic answers and you give hedge phrases to what you are seeing. Listen, stop that. Get that notion, put it in the bin. What you will find is in years to come, you will see from this channel that those sorts of people who use vagueness are going to be just removed from platforms. People are just going to get wise to it, and they're going to see the practices that they're doing. They're going to see the cold reading that they're doing. They're going to see the fraudulent acts that they are carrying out. And they will become wise to it and they'll stop watching them. These people will then just go into the shadows, which is great, which is what, as a community, as a family, we are here to do. We are here to educate the living. We are here to give each and every one of you the ability and the tools to be able to perform and execute readings for yourself, whether that be through tarot, whether that be through mediumship. That is what the message of Help Heal Serve is. Coming over to the next point is going to be, well, each and every one of you will call it raising your vibration. I absolutely despise that terminology because it makes it seem more special than what it actually is. It is spending quality time with yourself as a person. If you are wanting to get from A all the way to Z, then what we need to do is we need to have relevant steps in between. Don't just go from A and try and get there. We need to go A, B, C, D, E, F, G. We need to have all of the different milestones. By having milestones and by having a methodical way of thinking, we need structure in our world. Don't just come into mediumship and think that you can spend 5 minutes on a nighttime and become a medium. Listen, it's not going to help you. It's not going to help mediumship. It's not going to help the spirit world. Don't do that. What you have to do is to set time aside for yourself. If you are serious about becoming a medium, if you are serious about this as a path, if you are serious about giving messages from the spirit world to loved ones on this planet, then you need to work out time for yourself. Never mind raising vibrations, never mind about, listen, it's all bull, right? Don't think about anything else other than you being able to do this. You structuring your day around this. And when I say structuring your day around it, you've got to remember, mediumship is there, but you have to live your life also. However, that being said, like anything in life, if you were to go and start driving a car next week, you would have to make commitments to, and you would have to put time aside to start learning to drive that car. For example, you might have to go and do your theory test. You might have to go and do driving lessons. You might have to go and take practical examinations. You might have to do different sorts of mock exams. This is all taking time out of your day. It's the same with mediumship. If you are wanting to become the best version of yourself and the best authentic medium, we have to start looking at how we can practically put this into our world, whether that be 2 meditations a week that are 30 to 45 minutes. This is what you should be focusing on, not raising vibrations, not because a lot of people believe that you have to raise your vibrations to meet the spirit world, and the spirit world, no, they don't, they're already bloody here. The spirit world access your extrasensory abilities. You don't need to lift energy, you don't need to raise energy, you don't need to be anything else than yourself. The spirit world are giving you the information. There is nothing that you need to do as a person. You just need to work on your senses to be able to know what sense we are using in those moments so that you can decode that information. It gets us so wound up, right? Because there's loads of people put loads of effort into raising the vibrations and all of these different things. The problem with that is it takes the spotlight off what you should be actually doing. Find time to dedicate to yourself so you can actually carry out and perform mediumship training. That's it. That's all it needs to be. It doesn't need to be about raising vibrations. It doesn't need about be sitting in your power. It doesn't need to be about holding that power. Listen, it's instantaneous. You don't need to do any of these crazy humanistic practices. They are all there as suppression tactics. They have been put in your way to make it less simple and more complicated. Giving it a spiritual term to make it more spiritual. A lot of people will walk away at that point because they don't understand what sitting in the power is. They don't understand what raising your vibration is. Sorry, sometimes I start to lose my throat when I get a bit passionate. And the very last one that we're going to bring to your attention is going to be consistency. You have to be consistent, my friend. If you are wanting this, and I'm guessing you've actually watched this part of the video, so you genuinely do want to become an authentic medium, then remember, this is going to be a long time. Tell yourself that at the beginning. Don't tell yourself that you're going to do this in 2 weeks' time. Don't tell yourself that you're going to do this in a month's time. Stop giving yourself unreasonable expectations, because that's what they are. Yes, there are human beings on this planet who will sell you a course for £40 and tell you that they will make you a medium. The issue with that is the ignorance in their statement. It's for profiteering. There is no way on this planet that they can make you a medium in that short amount of time, because you as a person have to spiritually grow and understand and learn how to refine your extrasensory perceptions. It's not just a light switch moment. The light switch moment is when you realize that the spirit world are there. That's when the fun begins. So if there's anything that this video has taught you, is to know that the spirit world are there. They are actively wanting to work with each and every one of you, every second of every minute of every day. And by using your Clair abilities, you are going to receive that information from the spirit world. You are going to decode it through your extrasensory perceptions and be able to speak on behalf of the spirit world or know what they want you to know. Also, remember that meditation is key. We need to find time for ourselves and we need to stay committed, focused, have reasonable expectations. Don't just come into this and want it. I know, I get it, right? Listen, I get it. Each and every one of you want to become a medium, and I can help you to do that. What I can't do is to take a backseat and feed you some of the dribble that mankind are spouting on this planet. You have to understand and acknowledge and appreciate that you are a beautiful soul. You have a journey to go through. You have a path to follow, even in some cases, a path to lead. Mediumship is going to solve a lot of your problems, but to get into the state of a mediumship, into the ethos, the understandings, and practice as a medium, it's going to take a lot of bloody hard work. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I hope you can see a lot of the points that I've raised. I know sometimes I do get a little bit animated, and sometimes I get a little bit crazy in the way that I go around things. Mediumship is an art. It's a craft that I absolutely love the bloody bits of. And the sad thing is, in the year 2025, there's not a lot of people on this earth plane who want you to succeed. They don't want you to succeed. They are more than happy for you to go to them for readings. They're not bothered about it. Even if you look at most of these people who do readings, right? Listen, I do readings myself, but my understanding in my practice is that I want you to do this for yourself. There will come a time when I'll completely step away from readings. And it's not because I don't know what I'm doing. It's not. I've already done thousands of readings. I've proven it. I have an audience. I already have people who come to me. The problem is with that is I'm not here to sustain mankind's notions. I am here to change it. We are here to help the everyday person to learn how to connect for themselves. Rather than having a problem and throwing money at a solution, we are giving you that solution for free. If only you put the hard work, effort, time, determination, and commitment in. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'd like to say a big massive thank you to each and every one of you who like, comment, share and subscribe to the channel. Thank you to all of the channel members. Remember to stick a comment down below, people, if you liked it. If you didn't like it, let me know if you want to know anything else. And also, why don't you check out the videos pinned at the top left and right. Until the next time, bye-bye for now.